Hey guys, Dan with S3 Archery here, and I wanted to shoot a quick video kind of aimed at the instinctive archer as far as fletching colors, cap dipping, and cresting, and how that potentially could make you a much better archer. When Joe and I first started out shooting archery, we started with compounds, and we had black carbon shafts with small little blazer vanes. Color was whatever came on them. We weren't really into tuning our own gear. Once we got something that worked, we just used it over and over again. Then as we transitioned into this traditional archery and we were excited about the concept of instinctive shooting, we started getting into the carbons, but we went to the GT trads. You've seen us shoot a lot of that. Now here in 2015, Joe's starting to shoot cedars for a while. I've got some legacy aluminums that I'm shooting. And we've kind of learned a little thing along the way as far as colors go. And so we thought we'd bring that to you guys. So here I've got a bunch of different arrows, and they're all beautiful. We've got some aluminums that have some green barred feathers. We've got some tree bark feathers here, which are white as well as red. We've got solid white and red. Natural turkey, barred, imitation turkey. And then we've got solid white and orange, orange, and solid all white. Currently, this is a shaft that got just trashed from Joe this last weekend, but this is what Joe loves. He loves shooting the all-white feather. He really sees it as he shoots it out of his bow. He sees the impact point downrange, and so he prefers the all-white feather. No barring at all. It's extremely bright when it's out there. And I'm currently shooting these here, and they are solid orange. No barred feathers at all. They are extremely bright, and so this I'm going to not use for hunting. I'm just going to use it for target practice and stumping. But you can see that out of all these arrows, and we have even more that we aren't picturing, we've transitioned through all of the barred type feathers into solid feathers. And the reason we've done that is because as you've got an arrow like this going down range, you can see as it's through the air, and your eye naturally tracks that arrow. And according to some of the books we've read, as well as some of the experiences we've had, when you've got an arrow that you can see it in flight, you are going to be a better instinctive archer. When you shoot an arrow like this green barred one, it basically disappears as soon as you release it from the string. You get no report to your eye when this is done until you get down to the target. And although with instinctive archery you're not making calculations intentionally, your brain is automatically kind of making those calculations on its own. And so for us as an instinctive archer, we have gone away from barred feathers, other than hunting situations, to the solid feathers. What you can also see is that here is an extremely bright arrow. It's got a little bit of cresting, it's got an orange cap tip, it's got a orange clear knock on it. When this is flying downrange, when the sun hits that knock, it's almost illuminated. And so this arrow is a perfect arrow as far as we're concerned for training. But what you might not notice is that all this cap dip, it does absolutely nothing for you to follow that arrow. The only thing that your mind and your eye can pick up on are the fletchings and the knock. Personally, although I love how bright this is, a clear knock, especially with a GT trad like this, when that's shot, especially in wintertime, this just glows. And this is actually one of the arrows I started with, and I guarantee you it made me a better archer quicker. And then I went into the bars, which I learned didn't do as well for me personally, although I love the look of them, and so now I've transitioned back. But the cap dips, although they are beautiful, they do nothing for making you a better instinctive archer. However, if you're going to be stumping, an arrow like this, lying in grass and dirt, is going to be extremely recognizable if any of that cap dip is out. And so if you're someone who stumps, cap dipping your arrows in orange is probably an extremely good idea. So just a couple of kind of tips for you for what Joe and I have learned. If you're trying to be an instinctive archer and learn, especially out in the field, go with bright feathers, go with solid colors. Leave the barred feathers for when you're hunting or for up on a shelf. Or once you feel like you've learned a lot and you know your bow's trajectory, switch to the barred if you think that's prettier. But absolutely for Joe and myself, you know, something like this, it looks absolutely gorgeous. But when you throw it from your eye's point of view, you just don't get that report as quickly. And so it might take many more shots with an arrow like this to shoot well versus an arrow like this. So, thanks for joining us, guys. Alright, so here's a close-up of some of these arrows. You can see the difference between where we have it where they're solid colors, and then you go to these barred feathers. And we'll catch the other side just because that natural turkey one with that orange splice, you can see how dark those become when you start adding those bars into the actual feathers or utilizing a natural feather versus a solid bold color feather.